all that is happening with respect to the protests that had broken out. Now, even as protests erupted across the country yesterday, hours after the calm prevails now, we are learning from Saharanpur to Delhi, there is peace on the ground and police has ensured that the law and order situation has been restored. Yesterday, we had been seeing dramatic visuals coming in from several pockets of the country where we had seen massive number of protests that had broken out with respect to Nupur Sharma's comments. And now we are learning that the authorities have assured that the entire law and order situation has gone back to normalcy. Even as we talk about the national capital, where we had seen outside the Jama Masjid, in fact, gate itself, we had seen hundreds of the protesters that had been gathering there and claiming that they still take offense with respect to Nupur Sharma's statements that had been made even after the FIR had been registered. But as of now, the authorities have stated that the peace prevails as of now and the protesters has been dispersed. And viewers, our reporters are on the ground keeping you ahead on this story. My colleagues Sumi and Harsha also join us when they were tracking with respect to the protests that had broken out yesterday. And if I could go to Harsha first. Harsha, if you can hear me, you know, yesterday we had seen how there were a large number of protests that had broken out across the country. And now the authorities have assured that peace prevails and strict action will be taken against the people who come out to protest without permission.
Exactly. I'll tell you, yesterday after Friday namaz, the protest started and there were many places where the clash with police officials was also seen, while the protesters started sloganeering, and many places we saw the stone pelting was also happened. But now from Saharanpur to Delhi, everywhere police is trying to maintain peace and the law and order prevails in all these places. But yes, the initial investigation has started where the protesters have come from. Why the protest started initially, it was not called, because the Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid also clearly stated that the protest was not called either by Imam or by the All India Muslim Personal Law Board. Nowhere in the area, either be Saharanpur, Hathras or Muradabad, protest was not called. Then who were the people who started the protest? Investigation has started and many people have been booked by police on this call. Even if it is about Delhi, it is about Saharanpur or Hathras. But there are many places also where the situation still is not under control. If we talk about West Bengal, Howrah district, all about Ranchi, internet has been suspended in both of these areas till June 13, 6 a.m. Police is trying to maintain peace, law and order. But yes, the BJP Bengal unit have demanded Home Ministry to deploy central forces in West Bengal, seeing the current situation, and the protesters are being continuing looked out by the police at who were the people who were involved. But yes, right now if we talk about Delhi, the Jama Masjid area, peace is in the area and police is trying to maintain peace and law and order in this area, and also trying to know who were the people, whether they were from the Jama Masjid area, from that vicinity, or they were outside from different places of UP. Who were those people who started these protests? Yes.
Well, that's right, Harsha. And to you now, Sumi, because we had seen how there were protests that were breaking out across the country, but they were also not very sporadic protests. There had to be some kind of planning that must have taken place for such a large number of people to get mobilized so quickly. What is happening with respect to the investigation by the authorities? Any update that you can give our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. As Harsha was also correctly pointed out, as to how an investigation has also been launched into the entire case. And in fact, in Uttar Pradesh, where 6 districts were affected after the Friday prayers yesterday, and protesters gathered in high number, they pelted stones at the policemen. 100 people have been arrested. In fact, more than 100 people have been arrested by the Uttar Pradesh police. They have been identified on the basis of various CCTV cameras that were found in the areas where protests unveiled. In fact, in Delhi, in the national capital also, we had seen how Delhi police has also swung to action. And in fact, they have already launched 2 FIRs in which several people were named. Social media entities will also be given notices on the basis of the inflammatory tweets that they have made in the past, and that has affected the tranquility of two particular communities. And in fact, in case of Jama Masjid, yesterday the protesters did the sloganeering after the Friday prayers, and under section 188 an FIR has also been lodged. A case has also been registered by the Delhi police. So yes, the Delhi police have also been doing everything that it can to maintain the law and order situation across the national capital. And as Harsha correctly pointed out, that there is a peace in the area. However, 6 districts were affected in Uttar Pradesh, and several districts were also affected in West Bengal, which is why the West Bengal Vice President Soumitra Khan has asked and has sought intervention from the MHA to deploy central forces in the area so that the suspension of the internet services can be curtailed, and the peace will also prevail across the state of West Bengal. And that is really concerning, how the aftermath of the comments of Nupur Sharma is affecting the entire nation. However, the central forces have been deployed at several nook and crannies of the country just to avoid any untoward situation in the future.
Oh, well, yes, and peace does prevail. At least that's what the authorities are telling us right now from across the country, where they are claiming that stringent action will be taken against the people who come out without permission to protest as well. I want to thank Harsha and Sumi for joining us on the broadcast with those updates.